More than half of workers, 61%, believe the idea of a stable full-time job is a myth in today's hiring landscape, including 72% of Gen Z professionals, according to a new report of 3,000 employed adults from background checking company Checkr. In this video, we'll explore why this trend is occurring and what you can do to benefit from it. But before diving into today's topic, hi. I'm Fido. I'm a software engineer who studies the tech industry, the job market, and workplace trends. I share this information to help you improve your career satisfaction. If that sounds good, please subscribe and keep watching. If you haven't been laid off, you likely know someone who has by now. I'm in tech, so to say the first half of this decade has been cutthroat for our industry would be an understatement. Since 2022, I've personally experienced more than one layoff. Like many of us, I chose a career in tech and a corporate because it seemed like the safe, stable option. However, after these experiences, along with the embarrassment and stress of losing a job, I realized that a stable job is a myth. I realized this myth reflects a boomer ideal of work where an employee works and retires after a long career with a single company. This myth of a stable job is further perpetuated by bi-weekly compensation, benefits, and a clock in, clock out work culture. While these features can create the illusion of stability, in reality, a company reserves the right to remove them from you at any time. Trying to build a foundation on this illusion is akin to building a house of cards outside. You might work hard to stack each card, and for a time it may work, but deep down you're paranoid that at any moment a strong enough wind will blow away everything you've built. In my case, I've experienced that wind in the form of layoffs. My house of cards blew over, and then I attempted to rebuild it multiple times. Eventually, I finally realized that building a house of cards outside is stupid on principle. Accordingly, 61% of the 3,000 people surveyed also think it's stupid. I mean, how could you not? 71% of layoff survivors say their work motivation has declined since the layoff. Moreover, 60% of layoff victims are less likely to trust their next employers. Whether you're a survivor or a casualty of a layoff, your trust and belief in the stable career myth goes down because you've seen the exact opposite result in your job. Instead of being stable, the actual work environment today is full of instability and paranoia because any day you may be forced to tell your loved ones that you've lost your job. Moreover, leadership itself hardly plays into the myth anymore. CEOs like Amazon's Andy Jassy essentially telegraph to their company their intent to plan to lay off employees. Jassy states, as we roll out more generative AI and agents, it should change the way work is done. We will need fewer people doing some of the jobs that are being done today and more people doing other types of jobs. It's hard to know exactly where this nets out over time, but in the next few years, we expect that this will reduce our total corporate workforce as we get efficiency gains from using AI extensively across the company. In a case like this, it's hard to imagine an employee, aside from being delusional, actually believing that working at Amazon is a stable job. I mean, you're explicitly being told that you may be let go. I'll leave this commentary about AI out for the sake of this video. But if you'd like to explore this concept further, you can watch the content right here. As an additional note, I believe the vast majority of Gen Z recognizes that the emperor has no clothes. Unlike prior generations such as Gen X and millennials, they're less likely to believe the back in my day tales of corporate idealism pushed by boomers. As a generation, they entered arguably the worst labor market in the past 17 years. For them, a 9-to-5 job was so unstable by the time they came of a professional age that the idea of calling it stable seemed absurd. So how do you find success in an unstable job? And is it even worth it to pursue a career in a 9-to-5? For the first question, given my past experiences and the fact that what success means is different for everyone, I'll focus on the mistakes I made at the job where I was laid off. The first mistake I made was believing that my performance was more important than compliance. At the large company I worked for, they didn't value the work I was producing. They cared more about how well I followed their bureaucratic and social rules. I could build an application worth $1 million to a company, but if I didn't kiss the right behinds or got too creative or proactive with my problem solving, then I was characterized as an employee who didn't comply. The second mistake is becoming too comfortable in my 9 to 5. I should say, I'm not advocating for paranoia, although a bit of it can keep you sharp. In my case, I falsely believed that the importance of my significant contributions in the past made me immune to a layoff or getting fired. Thus, I became comfortable. As a result, I stopped crossing my T's and dotting my I's, only to find myself in a Zoom call with HR soon after. My third mistake is not participating in office politics. Sadly, some of the periods in my career when I've been most successful are the ones where I behave like Niccolo Machiavelli. Conversely, the jobs where I've done the worst are typically those in which I refuse to participate in office politics and focus more on work-related tasks. My fourth mistake is debating with my manager. Now, especially with the last 2 points I mentioned, I don't want you to think I'm encouraging you to be dishonest or participate in workplace politics. Instead, I'm encouraging you to see the workplace for what it is and to move strategically based on that awareness. In my specific case, I disagreed openly with my manager about a topic in which I believed he was mistaken. I thought I was stating the truth and that action would be respected, but really I was putting myself out of a job. Yet, I still think a 9 to 5 job can be worth it for your time and energy if you contextualize it as inherently unstable. This prepares you for a potentially chaotic outcome such as being laid off. Secondly, it may be worthwhile if you want to develop a specific skill. For example, if you're early in your software engineering career and you work with a senior team, you may be exposed to approaches, practices, and problems that are hard to replicate on your own. Third, despite the unstable nature of the 9 to 5 job, a company that focuses on a field, cause, or mission you have an affinity for may be worthwhile to work for. A simple example is being fascinated by space travel, investing in the field through education, and then working at SpaceX. Lastly, a 9 to 5 job can also be a more solid option if it's temporary or a stepping stone for the next thing. For example, while you work at your office, you spend your evenings learning a new skill that you can use to leverage better career opportunities. Speaking of, if you're ready to make your next career move, please check out my guide on how to land your next interview and get hired. This guide is designed to work in today's competitive job market. It has helped several of my clients secure interviews, and one of my clients was hired after applying the detailed steps I provided. It's completely free. To access the guide, click the link in the description and download it today. Thank you, and I look forward to seeing you next time. Peace.